enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours, now through December 20th. All of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net. And together, we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
White diamonds, 2 a.m. she wildin'. She sick, got they stomach in her comics. What school you went to? Gardena, Compton, Westchester, King, Drew, did we function? Lil, what that dog gave me, that's on pup. All my kids, I sock you up. Have you ever took a fade and ran 3 more back to back? Oh, you haven't? Then shut the f up and keep it rap. I'm from the land, don't say you hate LA when you don't travel past the 10. Am I tripping? Yes, I am. Meditate over some money. I see Franklin, I find Zen. I'm from the land. Don't say you hate LA, but live in LA and pretend. My neck on Tarantino, Alejandro Spike Lee. Just know you took the scenic route if you stand by me, stupid.
So fly in this 50 on me, don't die trying it. You know I'm up and down when I slide in this. Beamers and the jets outside in this. West side, get the money, yeah, that's for sure. Streets don't love you, better respect the code. Ain't no sleeping in on Sunday. If it's by the money, then my don't go.
When I walk in, oh yeah, break that.
KBLA Talk 1580. Alrighty. Well, let's talk about it. Whatever's on your mind. It is fair game at this point. I was just reading this article about the FBI warning Americans to be careful with their text messages, our text messages. In other words, if you text, well, they're saying it's because Chinese hackers are looking at American texts and that if it's not encrypted, it's fair game and all of that. But I laughed when I saw it because forget Chinese hackers. I'm worried, like most of us could be more worried about the FBI and TMZ. Ask Cardi B and Offset. Anyway, my guest is here. She is co-founder of the Black Lives Matter Youth. They are co-founder of the Black Lives Matter Youth Vanguard. They are a student activist involved with an encampment in the Free Palestine movement, among many, many other causes. And they are Thandiwe Abdullah. Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. DiPrima. How are you?
I'm good. You may call me Dominique.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So I started off because I just saw this article about the FBI telling Americans that the Chinese could be looking at your text messages. This is the FBI Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency. I didn't even know there was a CISA, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. Anyway, basically what they're saying that if you're using plain text messaging, it can easily be hacked. And I was laughing because I think it was a couple days ago, they put out these text messages. This wasn't the Chinese. I think this might have been TMZ, the Shade Room, somebody. There were text messages between Offset and Cardi B. I was like, okay.
Oh, I saw that.
Right? Messy, right?
Right.
But they're saying there's this plan called Salt Typhoon from China where they're cyber espionaging people and getting their texts and in some cases getting phone calls. And I'm thinking forward with this new administration and all of the retaliation that they're talking about around activists and nonprofits, and how you've got all these tech bros, like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, who are now embedded in that Republican administration. So
Right.
I feel like this warning from the FBI, we should maybe take it seriously, but for different reasons. What are your thoughts?
Well, number one, don't take any warning from the FBI seriously, especially when it comes to your security, when it comes to breaches of your privacy. I mean, that's the FBI's entire job. So, them saying, hey, be careful of your internet access and how you choose to surf the web, because other countries might hack you before we get the chance to. It's honestly very laughable. I'm thinking about Meta and even the recent arrest of the United Healthcare CEO, Tiller. I was just thinking about how tech made that so much easier, and how facial recognition and over surveillance in our country, or in this country, made that arrest so much easier. And there were even what is that called? Vigilante tech bros who were tracing his IP address and trying to track him down and saying, oh, I think I found where he could be. And so we're already living in a world that is, completely over surveilled. You can be doxxed at any time. Anyone can find your address. Anyone can find your phone number. And if anyone can do this, including these tech bros, including these folks that you're talking about, Elon Musk types, and just people who have experience with that, of course the FBI can have access to, all of these things already. So I'm not really worried so much about any foreign power, as much as I'm concerned about the people who are right next to me and my own government.
Right. We're on the same page with that. And I feel like it's going to amp up even more. But,
oh, for sure.
I mean, but you're still a very young person. You're a college student. And I'm going to make the Gen X assumption that you're better at tech. So the FBI is advising us to use encryption. And like you said, well, you take your advice from the FBI. But what should people do? I mean, they're saying use WhatsApp or Signal or something at least that's encrypted, so it's harder to hack your messages. If Cardi B and Offset had been on Signal, would their personal text messages have ended up on the Jasmine brand, do you think?
Well, number one, I do think that Cardi B leaked her own text. So I'm pretty sure she posted that screenshot herself, y'all. I don't think
that sounds right. That sounds right. For sure.
So yeah, I don't think anyone has to worry about your personal text suddenly ending up on the page.
Is it the new sex tape, Thandiwe? Now I leak my own text message.
Right,
so
you get ahead of it.
So I can stay relevant.
I guess. You never know, honestly. I've always advocated for encryption. I think everyone should get a VPN at the minimum. Yeah.
Okay. What is it? Explain what a VPN. I know because I have a child around your age. But what is a VPN?
A VPN is I actually don't know what that stands for at the moment. I think it's something private network.
Yeah, but you know what it does.
Right. So it's an app, or it's I guess an extension.
Virtual private network is what it stands for, apparently. I just looked it up. Virtual private network.
We have our fact
I didn't know either.
Here.
Yeah, well, my Google fingers are fast.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. A virtual private network, you get it, you plug it in. It's an added piece of software that you can connect to your Wi-Fi or whatever you're using to get your internet. And it basically protects you against phishing and ads and like people who want to see what you're doing. There's a way for people, like I guess experienced hackers, to be able to watch what you're doing on your screens in real time. So this will like block that. Also, if you have things in your region that are not allowed for you to access, certain websites or certain apps, if they're not available in your region, you can use a VPN to, I guess, have access to those services. So yeah, it's just a good thing to have for your security and just for your fun, so you don't have to think too hard when you're on the internet.
Yeah, I know that I don't have one. Maybe I should get one. But I know that happened to a friend of mine, that she found that somebody was snooping on her Wi-Fi and was able to notice it because she could see, she at some point saw their Wi-Fi or something on her service. And so I know that it's possible. It's not really like James Bond type stuff.
Also,
like people are doing that. Yeah.
Right. I don't think people are really interested in what, I mean, I'm sure that there's people who are out there trying to scam and do scam this way, but a lot of this is also just so much fear mongering because the average person is so unaware of how quickly the internet is evolving. Like, there's things that, I know you said that you think I'm good at the internet. I'm really not. Like, I'm so impressed by Bluetooth. I think Bluetooth is one of the, like, best inventions of our time. I'm like, how does it work? It's magic.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing when you can just connect your phone to this booming speaker or whatever. But I'm just saying, you might not know all the ins and outs of what VPN stands for or how Bluetooth actually functions, but you know how to use the doggone stuff, and what function it's meant to play in your life. And so, I think you're right. There's a lot of fear mongering, but at the same time, if you're an activist,
it is real.
You might want to consider encryption. I didn't realize that iPhone messaging was encrypted, by the way. Oh, go ahead.
iPhone messaging is encrypted?
That's what it said in this article. I mean, they could be lying, but that's what it says.
Well, I know that I think the FBI tried to get access to Apple records, and I know that they told them no. This was a while ago,
right?
But I don't know if you heard about that. But the government, the Apple has a track record of protecting client data, which is good. But I always tell people, like, if you're worried about it, just go the simpler, the better. The simpler and more rudimentary your technology is, the better. Right.
Means you can't beat snail mail. Write me a letter. No one can hack it.
But, let's be pen pals.
But yeah, Signal, WhatsApp, apparently iMessage. But I think it's only if you're iPhone to iPhone that it's going to be end-to-end encrypted. And you can get Android encryption apparently, but it's an app you've got to get in Google Messages, and you have to turn it on. So, yeah, for those of you who are, planning insurrections, you might want to consider that. If you got a big protest coming up, you might want to go encrypted, because if they're telling us about the Chinese, they actually mean them.
Right.
Talking with Thandiwe Abdullah, so much to cover. We're looking at national and international issues, and you're welcome to chime in at 800-920-1580. We're unapologetically progressive. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Somebody bring out the confetti, baby!
Starting Monday, January 6th, KBLA Talk 1580 has a new midday lineup.
I'm excited.
Are you ready for Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornel West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, and E. Quarterly Corte back-to-back?
Oh, my God.
Are you really ready for all this smoke?
I'm ready, brother.
Yes, we still have Dominique DiPrima in the mornings and Zoe Williams in the evenings, but middays just got lit on KBLA Talk 1580.
We on fire.
All across America, people are talking about our new midday lineup. Starting Monday, January 6th, our KBLA 1580 app downloads are on fire because everybody's going to be tuning in.
Yes, I love you guys. You are the bomb.
Now would be a good time to hit up SMB at KBLA1580.com if you want folks to hear about your business or brand. That's SMB at KBLA1580.com. It's going up in 2025 on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's going up.
That's what I want.
Did you know that 1 in 6 African American men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer? This month, every time you purchase Gillette's family of products, they'll donate to support Movember. Whether you're looking for Gillette's Best Shave, a regimen to help prevent new shave irritation and bumps, or award-winning beard care products, every Gillette purchase can make a difference in the fight against prostate cancer. Visit pggoodeveryday.com/Movember for details. Exclusions apply.
On behalf of the Ayers family, KBLA Talk 1580 announces the public funeral services for our very own Robin Ayers on Saturday, December 21st, 12 noon, in the living room at the Faithful Central Bible Church, 400 West Florence Avenue in Inglewood. Robin will be sorely missed by all who knew her and the many lives she touched. We will hold on to our fondest memories forever. Family and friends are invited to come celebrate Robin's joyful life Saturday, December 21st at 12 noon in the living room at Faithful Central Bible Church, 400 West Florence Avenue in Inglewood. KBLA Talk 1580 extends sincere condolences to the Ayers family. Robin will always be in our hearts.
Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Right now, the convo continues with Dominique DiPrima and Thandiwe Abdullah, a student organizer who is currently enrolled in college and one of the co-founders of the Black Lives Matter Youth Vanguard. And we're talking about many things. This morning, I typically like to go on a Talking Point Tuesday through lots of different stories in the news and get a quick or long take from Thandiwe, depending on how you feel about that story. Chuck Schumer saying Sunday that he's working to pass a bill to give local law enforcement more tools for drone detection. Speaking of technology, everybody's in the Northeast saying they see drones. Now some people here in SoCal are saying they see drones. People are freaking out about it. They shut down some airspace over a military base for a while. The Homeland Security Secretary is being urged to send special drone detection technology to New York and New Jersey. And I'm just wondering, why the freak out? Because I feel like I see drones all the time. Private people have drones. I know it's possible that foreign countries or whatever could be sending drones, but how would you know? They're urging people not to shoot down the drones because it could be a private drone. It could be an actual airplane. A lot of these are turning out to be actual planes and helicopters. People think they're UFOs. They think they're drones. We're not experts. I just don't understand the freak out part.
I don't either. I guess I can see why it would be concerning. We're in uncharted territory here when it comes to airspace. I had the opportunity to look at a city plan for LA for the next 15 years. And in 15 years, they want to start using personal, low-flying hovercraft.
Really? Oh, Lord.
From South Korea. And they have 1 passenger or 2 passengers only. But, my immediate line of questioning is who controls airspace? We are in such uncharted waters here with that. We have no idea, like, does it breach people's privacy? Like, if you own a plot of land, how does that extend to your airspace? And so, yeah, I really don't understand the freak out, because we know that the government has been using drones and like flying technology like that for a long time. So it seems really more like, oh, we don't want everyone else to have access to this technology. It's something only we can have.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good point, because I mean, the drones have been flying over people's backyards and, again, taking pictures of celebrities, surveilling, people at protests.
Right.
Local police departments have drones. We know that. That's not new, right? So how are you suddenly freaking out about these? And when I say I don't understand the freak out, is because the drones flying around are not anything new. So that's a really good point, Thandiwe. Someone's going to have to, like, can the space over my backyard be my privacy? And how high up do you have to be before you breach my privacy? I think you're right. We don't have those things defined. So from that standpoint, yeah, go ahead and freak out. But little unmanned...
But why weren't you freaking out before?
Right, exactly.
Right, but the police were flying drones over your neighborhood and there are helicopters over your neighborhood. Like, we're so used to seeing these things and, like, so conditioned to believe that that is normal. But the idea of someone who's just like you, who's playing with a little drone they bought off Amazon, that's what's scaring you.
Yeah, well, and then they're assuring us that that's not a foreign country. Okay, but how do I know that? Like, if I freelance can buy a drone off Amazon and fly it around, why wouldn't every foreign country be flying them everywhere?
Right. But also you have to think, like, all of these fears and about foreign countries invading and foreign countries doing X, Y, and Z, I feel like it's really just America telling on itself. Like, we've probably been doing this to every other country. We've been probably flying drones all through Yemen, all through China, and now we're thinking, oh, wait, if it's so easy for us to do this, maybe they also... Right? So, I have those fears and I have those concerns too, and I think they're definitely possible. But hey, an eye for an eye. Feel free to spy on me, because I know we've been spying the hell on y'all.
Well, I mean, that is probably true, Thandiwe. I think it is interesting that, to your point, now they're going to have to figure out what are the rules. I've been amazed at how few rules there really are. And you've got the governor of New York, freaking out. This is, the New Jersey governor posting on X, the New York governor posting on X. And to your point, I mean, it's not just Donald Trump who's kind of like the I know you are, but what am I guy, which is whatever he accuses you of doing, he's doing. I think that's probably true for our military as well. Yeah, it's a good point. We've got Dwight on the phone calling us from the city of Compton. Hi, Dwight. You're on with Thandiwe Abdullah and Dominique DiPrima. Welcome.
Good morning, Dominique. Happy holidays to you and Tanji and your family and loved ones, the KBLA family and all the hardworking postworks out there. As far as VPN, Dominique, it is important for us to have it on our telephones and our computers, because you can get it from your phone provider or your antivirus provider, or whoever provides your internet for your computer at home, because it hides who you are from the dark web. Because even Facebook would ask me, "Is it you logging on?" Because I had my VPN on when I logged on Facebook, because they kept suspending me whenever I criticized Donald Trump or Republicans. They would say, "Oh, you're not following Facebook policy," and suspend me for 2 days right in the election time. Now everything's cool now, but before the election, if I criticized Trump or Republicans, they would suspend me for 2 days at a time for criticizing Trump and Republicans. So a lot of things that they're talking about doing, other country and other people are doing, the actual Republicans are doing it right now. So 2025 actually started way back when they attacked the Capitol January 6th in 2021, Dominique. So as far as protect yourself, and also I want to one more thing, Dominique, use your credit card when you can and not your debit card, because the banks protect credit cards more than they do your debit cards, where they can wipe out your whole debit card account, and then they take 10 days to put the money back in your account. And you got to prove that it wasn't you. So everyone, when you log on the website, make sure you go to history and wipe it clean. Just clear out your history on your computer. Don't use the gas pump. Even the gas pumps that late at night, if you put your card in, they can go in and tamper with the credit card, with the gas pump. So go inside, use the credit card inside.
I'm not going to do that, Dwayne. But those are great tips.
And if you go to the bank, try to use the ATM inside the bank, not the one outside, because all through the night, people are messing with the ATMs and they mess with the gas pumps. So be careful this holiday season. Use your credit card when you can and not your debit card.
And don't forget to buy black, build black, and bank black. Right, Thandiwe?
Of course, especially for Black Xmas.
Yes, indeed. That's one way to protect yourself. You're probably a lot less likely to get hacked and have your credit card hijacked if you're at a Black-owned business, a Black-owned bank, or if you're giving to a Black-owned nonprofit or change organization. It's blackxmas.org, I think. Is it blackxmas.org or blackxmas.com?
I think it's blackxmas.org.
Okay, I need to, once again, get those Google fingers going. We just got 30 seconds before news, traffic, and sports. I know you've done a lot of work around Palestine and the conflict in Gaza. I feel like this is getting buried under all of the presidential election news and all of the police killings. We seem to have had a crazy surge in police killings since the election day. I don't know if that's rah-rah. We're happy that, the Republicans are back in power. But I want to turn our attention back a little bit to the Middle East when we come forward after news, traffic, and sports. Dominique DiPrima and Thandiwe Abdullah on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. President Biden called yesterday's school shooting in Wisconsin shocking and unconscionable. He offered condolences to the victims at Madison's Abundant Life Christian School, where a teacher and a teenager were killed. Biden reached out to local officials to offer support. The House Intelligence Committee will receive a classified briefing today on recent drone activity in the Northeast. Representatives from the FBI, CIA, and National Intelligence Agency will attend. First Lady Jill Biden announced she's done teaching at Northern Virginia Community College, where she taught for 15 years. Jill and President Biden are preparing to leave the White House as President-elect Trump takes over in January. And Mariah Carey is feeling better and will wrap up her Christmas tour tonight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. She announced on Instagram that she'll return to the stage after canceling her last 3 shows due to the flu. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
New deals just dropped at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select holiday decor clearance. Plus, save with weekly deal drops on appliances, tools, and more. Valid 12/12 through 12/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers snapped a 3-game losing streak Monday night by dropping 144 points on the Utah Jazz. James Harden scored 34 of his 41 points in the first half. The championship game of the NBA Cup tournament is tonight in Vegas. Milwaukee takes on Oklahoma City. $500,000 to each player on the winning team. The UCLA women's basketball team, ranked number 1 in the nation, is 11-0 after a 32-point win over Cal Poly. Bruins forward Janiyah Barker filled up her stat line with 12 points, 13 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3 block shots. Former USC quarterback Caleb Williams continues to have a rough rookie season in the NFL. The Chicago Bears are 4-10 after losing at Minnesota Monday night. The 10 losses are more than the number of defeats Williams had during his 2 years at USC. Williams was 18-8 as the Trojans quarterback. No debates, no speculation, and just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
The big holiday beauty sale at Ulta Beauty is happening now. Get the best gifts up to 50% off, including can't-miss deals on Urban Decay palettes, luxurious YSL and Armani fragrances, and the fabulous Shark Dryer and Styler. But that's not all. New deals drop every week. So whether you're treating yourself or finding the perfect gifts for your crew, head to an Ulta Beauty store today. Get all the best gifts, all at Ulta Beauty.
Add confidence to every holiday adventure and get it done with a rugged and capable Chevy truck or SUV. Now during Red Tag, get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $27.78 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment is 26.8%. You must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 1/2/25.
Okay, so last time I had insurance, I got hit with huge bills every time I saw the doctor.
You gotta get a plan with low copays and no deductibles. That's what those big bills are. I got a plan through Covered California. Now it doesn't cost so much to go see a doctor.
Seriously?
Yeah, and they have a bunch of options like that, so you can find one that works for you and your cash flow.
I can swing that.
We all have questions. Covered California has answers and can find a health plan that's right for you. Covered California, this way to health insurance.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
The revolution will not be televised.
This is Brother Cornell West. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm full of joy and delight to announce that I'm joining the precious family at KBLA Talk 1580, founded and led by my dear brother Tavis Smiley himself. Yes, the name of the show is Truth Time, and I'll be working with the inimitable Nina Turner out of Cleveland, Ohio, sister of great vision, and we will be on weekdays at 12 noon. We will be following Brother Tavis Smiley's show. We will begin Monday, January the 6th. That's right, Monday, January the 6th. Get ready for a different kind of insurrection. We coming with Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer and Curtis Mayfield and Aretha Franklin, and gonna add a little Gil Scott-Heron too, as Nina Simone sits at the center. That's right.
The revolution will be live.
That's what we gonna do. Please come with us on this fantastic voyage.
The revolution will put you in the driver's seat.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
I'm talking with student activist and Black Lives Matter Youth Vanguard co-founder Thandiwe Abdullah, and you're invited in 800-920-1580. Before we pivot to Gaza, I would be remiss if we did not at least talk about the shooting at the Abundant Life Christian School, in Madison, Wisconsin yesterday. A student there shot a bunch of people. She actually died. A teacher and another student died, and there are 2 students in critical condition, and some others, 3 others who had non-life-threatening injuries. I almost feel. I heard David Hogg talking about this yesterday on TV, and I almost feel bad because when we have these mass shootings, I kind of don't know what to say. I feel like we know it's bad. We know that we have to make changes, but it seems like there's just not the political will to do it. And I feel like I have nothing wise to say. So perhaps I underreport these things. And the reason I felt bad is because David Hogg was saying, look, if we don't talk about this, deal with it, and make some new policies, it just goes on indefinitely, and it normalizes it. And I definitely don't want to be part of normalizing it. How do you process these? I mean, you are a young person, and most of these happen in high school and elementary, but some happen on college campuses as well. How do you process it?
Wow. Yeah, I think that this is a really difficult but important conversation to have. I think I, like a lot of other people my age, unfortunately do see this as a normal part of life. Yeah, there have been mass shootings, my entire life growing up, and the headlines were just a normal part of, the 6 o'clock news. And I was involved in gun violence prevention work for a long time. I know David. We grew up together. We're still fairly we're on good terms. But it gets to a point also as a Black person and as a person of color, as a Muslim, like, how do we navigate the conversations about like what violence deserves the most attention? And I think that was what kind of made me, I don't want to say, it made me feel defeated is what I'll say. Even when we talk about like how school shootings have become so normalized, right? Police violence against Black people is so normalized, and it's been normalized since the foundation of policing as an entire concept. And so when we talk about like what gun violence prevention means, yes, we don't want to normalize school shootings, but school shootings are very rare, and usually the amount of casualties that happen are very low numbers. And I'm not trying to say that it makes it any less horrific. It stops me in my tracks. It always stops me in my tracks every single time, knowing that going to school, just the act of going to school can be enough for your child, or for me, right? Because I am a student. But for your life to end. But also as a Black person, that's every day you leave your house. So it's like, I think there's a lot. There's a lot for the average person to feel defeated about. And there's a lot for the average person to feel like violence is normalized against them. And so this is just another layer on top of like all the other ways that living in this country it's like the violence is so normalized, right? You have to think about like what the different layers of oppression and feeling unsafe that young people go through. So yes, I'm sad, but this is a private Christian school. And I think for a lot of these folks and for these parents, it might be the first time they're feeling this fight or flight and this mourning. But for Black folks, we lose our people every day, and we just have to go back to work the next day, and there's no justice, and there's no conversations being had either. And I think we just need to make sure that as we lift up the conversation, like, how do we end gun violence? How do we make sure that these mass shootings don't happen? I want to make sure that it extends to, like, all of the ways in which violence permeates our communities.
Yeah, a lot of great points there. But the only thing I'd add is that we do know that when assault weapons are banned, and, this wasn't an assault weapon, but typically when assault weapons are banned, these things decrease.
Right.
So why don't we do that? I mean, it's just, and I put that out there because David Hogg, who's a survivor of Parkland, kind of made me feel, just listening to him made me feel bad. And you're right, there's a hierarchy of violence. Violence against Palestinians warrants less talk than violence against, white folks, and on and on. And we know that black people are at the bottom of that hierarchy. And so you're right to point that out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it feels super disheartening to see people be able to excuse tens of thousands of deaths that we pay for. And then, when three, obviously still, of course, very horrific, very disheartening, but when three white, private school Christian children are murdered by weapons, now all of a sudden we need to have a conversation about how weapons kill. Okay, what about all of the weapons that have been killing all of the, quote unquote undesirables, right? In our own country and in the world. So I just hope if we want to start talking about opening hearts and protecting life, what makes certain lives more valuable than others. And I hate that this is where my mind always goes, but we do this work every day. So this is what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Well, it's rare that it's a woman or a girl doing the shooting, and this girl was only 15, so I know we'll be hearing a lot more about this. I do feel like we kind of just, as far as the national news goes, have mostly been ignoring Gaza, even as this conflict expands, because you have Israel bombing Lebanon now and pushing further and further into the West Bank. And Syria, bombing Syria, as we've seen the fall of their government. It almost feels, I don't want to say almost, it does feel like Israel is looking to annex the entire region. And I know you spend a lot of time analyzing, reading, and studying about Gaza and the whole region. How do you see the moment we're in right now? I know we're at 45,000 Palestinians dead, and those are the ones that are accounted for, not counting the ones that are under the rubble and may never be accounted for. But what do you make of this particular moment?
Oh, I've definitely noticed Palestine fading from the media, and I see this as very intentional, especially as, like you're saying, Israel is continuing to broaden their assault to all these other places in the region. We've always known that this was their goal. I think, Palestinians and Black folks and just people who care have been warning us that Israel's goal is expansion. And that we have to be very intentional in the way that we talk about this genocide and the way that we talk about, even down to when people say the Gaza genocide or the Gaza war. It's not just Gaza. Like you said, it's the West Bank. It's the occupied territories. It's Syria. They just bombed Syria with a bomb so massive that it registered as a 3.0 on the Richter scale. It registered as an earthquake. Wow. So they are trying to make life unlivable for indigenous people in the area. They're trying to expand and become what is known as Greater Israel, which has always been, they've always been very clear about that. And I think, if you just put a few pieces together with the way that the U.S. is giving them just complete free reign under a Democratic president, by the way, a Democratic administration. It's clear that the U.S. is basically endorsing this vision, right? So it's very concerning that we are not talking about it as much, but I also think it's super intentional, super on purpose, that the U.S. news cycles have been pumping out news less and less and less, because I don't think that our government wants us to know that we basically endorse this genocide and this imperialism. It's very mask off moment, I think, if you take a look.
Yeah, we're going to dig a little bit deeper. There's, as you said, there are stories there. They're being published. It's just they're not being talked about because, many reasons. But we'll continue this conversation with Thandiwe Abdullah. And you're invited in. It's not too late to call 800-920-1580. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Have you heard of the 50-30-20 rule? This can help you spend and save your money wisely. So, how does it work? Distribute your dollars into 3 buckets. 50% towards needs, 30% towards your wants, and 20% goes to savings. Use this tool to help your journey to financial success. Sponsored by JP Morgan Chase & Company.
I was so excited when I heard this sandwich was back. What's up? This is Mike.
And this is Celia.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich
is the symphony of flavors. You can always count on that crispy, tender, juicy chicken. It's so good.
My favorite part is the pimento cheese. Topped off with the honey, it all comes together perfectly. I like the original.
I like the spicy chicken fillet. But either way,
you're getting a winner.
The Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back with a bite. Try it with the original or spicy filet, now for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Workers in California cut and polish man-made stone for countertops, showers, and more. Without proper protections, workers breathe in harmful dust from the artificial stone material, which puts them at risk of developing silicosis. California employers are required to protect their employees from harmful silica dust by providing proper equipment and training. Stop dusty and deadly practices. Learn more at worksafewithsilica.org. This is a message from Cal OSHA.
December deals just dropped at Lowe's. Get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, take an additional $75 off every $1,000 you spend on select kitchen major appliances from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Amana, and Maytag. Also, save $20 on a Craftsman VersaStack rolling tool chest. Now just $69.98. Lowe's knows deals. Valid 12/12 through 12/18. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
Speaking with Thandiwe Abdullah, co-founder of the BLM Youth Vanguard and also a student activist. We were speaking on what's happening in the whole region there, the Middle East, and what is the media keeps saying, oh, we're worrying, that this may become a broader war. And I've been saying, well, I don't see why we're worrying that it's going to become a broader war. It already is a broader war. Now, Dr. Gerald Horne broke down how much broader it could actually get, and I kind of backed off that point a little bit because the things he was saying were scaring me. But that said, it does seem like, and it does seem like Israel's getting broader and broader in their footprint. The fact that the Syrian government fell and they immediately started bombing. The U.S. did too, by the way, saying that they want to keep ISIS at bay, but it looks like they're moving on Syria, moving on Lebanon, saying they're fighting Hezbollah. But that's the same thing they're saying, well, we're fighting Hamas in Gaza, and fighting Hamas means leveling every single school, hospital, and killing 45,000 people that we know of so far. The West Bank, which, is occupied territory, seems to be, the question seems to be, even in the mainstream media, the issue seems to be whether they're going to now annex this officially, not just as territory that they occupy, but as territory that they claim. According to the Jerusalem Post, the president-elect has made it clear in private conversations that annexing the West Bank is off the table at this time. And The Republican official quoted as saying Israel is in a difficult international situation. This is in the Jerusalem Post. And such a move will only do damage. So more worried about their reputation than the rights or lives of the people that live in that area. What's the temperature like on campuses? There was so much suppression of your protest last school year and real consequences for students having academic sanctions, being cut out of their future jobs, being doxxed, as you said earlier. How do you feel the temperature on campuses right now, or at least your campus and those of your friends around protesting what's happening in Palestine?
Well, that's a great question. I think what we're seeing on campuses reflects more broadly what's happening in our society at large, or what will happen, right? Especially as we move into, people are saying we're moving into a more fascist era culturally and politically. That's absolutely true. And I think you can use campuses, college campuses, as a measure for that. These are places where you are supposed to be able to engage in free speech, in political debate, in spirited debate even. Yes, that might hurt some people's feelings and that might be considered controversial, but that is the point of these spaces, right? When you see students and professors and staff, administrators being arrested for speaking their mind and engaging in their right to free speech and to protest peacefully, that is a very serious warning sign for what is to come. I think what's happening when you see, like, Colombia, for example, with professors who are able to go on social media and basically allow for people to post death threats about students on their campus who are just protesting. When that is protected free speech, but fighting for the lives of innocent people is not free speech, and that's hate speech, and that can get you doxxed, and that can get you, kicked out of your dorm and made houseless, right? It shows you where the priorities lie. So I guess just what I'm trying to say is that college campuses are not they're not a safe space to engage in the type of conversation that we're supposed to be able to have in these spaces anymore. And I think it's only going to get more repressed and more violent as we move into 2025 in the next presidential cycle.
Yeah. Well, I'm really so sorry for that. I mean, when I was on a college campus many years ago, they tried to disperse our protests, and they yelled at us, and they said it was an illegal gathering or whatever, but we didn't have academic sanctions or doxing or people trying to stop us from getting jobs in the future. And it hurts my heart that you guys have to go through that.
Thank you. It's definitely intense and a bit insane. Our parents talk about the same thing, and our grandparents, when they were protesting for Vietnam, or protesting for whatever. Protest is a very common part of what it means to be a college student. And even our elders don't know how to support us and relate to us. They say that they haven't seen this type of repression. So we're just in uncharted waters here, and I think it's only going to get more intense and insane as we go forward. But, students aren't intimidated by this at all. They are continuing to set up encampments. They are saying that I have friends who have already been kicked out of their housing or face backlash, who have been arrested, who just keep going back, right? The minute they get out of jail, they're back outside setting up a tent. And so I think that's the hope, and that's admirable, and I hope that energy continues.
Well, I think it is admirable. I commend you. You guys are brave. I know you personally are very, very brave. And I want you to be careful. But I had a conversation with Sharon Kyle, who runs the LA Progressive, and she made me feel better because she said that a lot of her friends, she's generation before me, a lot of her friends that protested, it changed the trajectory of their lives. Maybe they lost a job at some corporate firm or something, and they ended up becoming dedicated lifelong activists. So her point was not all of the opportunities that are lost end up being bad. In some cases, we, develop these really powerful voices and powerful legal minds and whatnot because of students facing repression and their reaction to that repression.
Exactly. And I think the students have been doing a really good job of continuing to uplift the fact that no matter what we face, no matter what violence, no matter what repression, if we are unable to even continue with our academic careers, or if we're unable to start at a projected firm or internship after graduation, Gaza and Palestinians are facing a complete scholasticide. They haven't been in school for over a year. And so whatever sacrifices we have to make as students now, it feels like a necessary sacrifice in the larger scheme of things. If we can keep Palestine in the news, as we're seeing less and less of, news outlets who want to talk about what's happening in the Israeli aggression on Palestine, if we can just do one small thing, if we can get one person talking about it, that's our job. That's all we can do. And when it feels like there's nothing else we can do, we have to remember that, people's entire families, professors and students and staff, the entire university apparatus in Palestine is completely gone. And I can't imagine what that would be like. I have a mom who's a professor, and all my entire family is actually educators. I can't imagine losing all of them and all of their students, just having nowhere to go or, being killed themselves. It's horrific. And so I think, we have to continue the spirit.
Thandiwe Abdullah, thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's always great to get your perspective. I don't know if you want to share socials or anything like that. We've got enough time to do so.
I'm Thandiwe Abdullah on Instagram, and that's all I have.
Thank you so much for your insights and all of the incredible activist work you're doing.
Thank you, Dominique.
Next hour, we're talking hate crimes. We've got a guest, and we've got some time with no guest, so let's break it down. Call me now, KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bray Wood with 4 things you should know from Being and Unconscionable. He offered condolences to the victims at Madison's Abundant Life Christian School, where a teacher and a teenager were killed. Biden reached out to local officials to offer support. The House Intelligence Committee will receive a classified briefing today on recent drone activity in the Northeast. Representatives from the FBI, CIA, and National Intelligence Agency will attend. First Lady Jill Biden announced she's done teaching at Northern Virginia Community College, where she taught for 15 years. Jill and President Biden are preparing to leave the White House as President-elect Trump takes over in January. And Mariah Carey is feeling better and will wrap up her Christmas tour tonight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. She announced on Instagram that she'll return to the stage after canceling her last 3 shows due to the flu. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Clippers snapped a 3-game losing streak Monday night by dropping 144 points on the Utah Jazz. James